The parable of the prodigal son. This is a very powerful parable and story by Jesus, and it's found in the book of Luke. It shows us, like how we have a beautiful God and that He is so full of grace and He has unconditional love and forgiveness, and He is just the most forgiving and loving God that we ever known. Like in times of trouble, in times of self-doubt, in times of hardships, usually we find ourselves running towards our families because no matter where we are in our lives, we know that they're gonna love us. So the same thing, we have the same God who loves us, and He loves us more than we can ask and imagine. So the story goes like this: there was this very rich king or master, and he had two sons. So one of the son asked, he wants all of his inheritance already, like he wants all his riches, and the father gives it to him, and then he goes away and he spends and he enjoys and he lives life, and he, like he just had no sense of responsibility. He was just like living without thinking, living carelessly, living dangerously. So there was a time where famine came, and everybody, a lot of people, found themselves in a deep hole of hardships. And he, being a son of a wealthy king, a wealthy master, found himself to be a servant feeding the pigs. And at some point, he was actually eating pig food. And then he realized what he did and what he has done. And then he realized also that the servants in his house actually they live better than he was. So he decided to like humble himself. He said, I'm going back home. And he wasn't even expecting to go back into the castle or into the big house. He was like, I'm going back to be one of the servants whose lives and situations are better than mine. And then the father, one day, he was looking out the window. He could see somebody walking into their house, and he recognized him. It was his son, and he was so filled with joy. So as he was approaching, he did not feel angry, like, how could you do this to me? After all the things that I've given you, I worked so hard to give you everything that I have, to provide you with the best, and then you run away and spend all that money, and then you're just coming back. He wasn't like that at all. He was filled with love and awe and joy and happiness and forgiveness. So his son was just coming from so far away. He could just see a glimmer of him. And then the father celebrated. He told his servants to, prepare a banquet. Like, you prepare the food, the best foods, and get the best robe and a gold ring and put it in his finger. The best robe and the best ring and the best of everything. And then they celebrated and celebrated and celebrated. And guess what? As the son came home, of course, he did not live to be one of the servants. He came home. He is back in his home, in the arms of his father. So if we really stop and reflect, we all make mistakes. Some mistakes are bigger than others. We've hurt people we love in the past. We've hurt our families, like things that we should have done that we didn't do, or things that we have failed to do. We just chose to do nothing. There are this many instances in our lives, and some are so big and traumatic that it lingers and it pops in our heads every now and then. We just need to stop and reflect, recognize what we have done, do a self-reflection, and then ask for forgiveness. And then as we ask for forgiveness from God, from other people, we also have to be mindful that we need to forgive ourselves. Forgive ourselves. And no matter what we've done, big or small, we have a very merciful and loving God who is so rich and abundant. And He owns all of the universe. He owns all of these beautiful castles, all this riches in the world. He owns the heavens and the earth. And if you find yourselves like you made a mistake, you're in a deep hole, you are struggling because of the past mistakes, bad investments, bad choices, know that it is not hopeless and that we have a merciful, powerful, loving, all knowing God who knows what you're going through more than anybody in the world, and maybe even more than you know yourself. We have a loving God, a merciful God who gives us grace each and every day. He renews His love and His favor and His gifts and His riches and His compassion for you each and every day. God has already given us His only Son, Jesus, to save us from our sins and to forgive us from our sins. So we are forgiven. All we have to do is to receive the redemption and the forgiveness of God. And we can only do that by being able to forgive ourselves. And of course, we also have to learn how to forgive others as well. So, this parable of the prodigal son in the book of Luke is so powerful. So, in times when we feel like we are a failure, we made mistakes, that there's almost no turning back, like everything feels hopeless, just know that we have a powerful God who is all loving, who is all merciful, and who is so wealthy and rich. He owns the heavens and the earth. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the one true King. And He is our Father, and He is waiting for us. We just need to call unto Him, run unto Him, and from far away, He knows that we are on His way to love Him, to be with Him, to ask for forgiveness, and to share His great glory. He will welcome us like He did in this story. And isn't it so beautiful and magical? If you have stories to share similar to this, please share in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel and share this video to somebody who may need this message today. I hope you have a great day and God bless.